But did you like it though? Did you?
Double tap.
All right, what's good, YouTube? We got some guests for you guys. I don't know if my boy wants me to call him Maximus or he got a name that he want me
No,
to call him.
I just go by Maximus mostly, but you can call me Sean if you want to.
Sean, aka Maximus, and we got Alex with him, and they both have a podcast. If I'm not mistaken, it's the Blind Spot on Spotify.
Yep, Fantasy Blindspot on Spotify. Yep.
That's what's up. So we got them joining us today, and we're gonna talk a little fantasy. So, first off, what are y'all thoughts with the free agency moves? Anything stick out that that happened in free agency that y'all want to talk about, or that caught y'all peak?
Well, mostly what me and Alex have been talking about on pretty much every single podcast that we've done since it started. The Texans dismantling their offensive line and basically what they're doing because they haven't added too much. So if you're expected Stroud to be protected, we still don't know if he's going to be or not yet, right? Like,
yeah,
that's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, there was two of them that they traded, and then I believe one the contract was up anyway, and then they brought in Cam Robinson, who's more of that swing man that can play any position, but not necessarily somebody you want starting every single game. So like Sean said, I have real concerns because one of the things we also know about offensive line play is that continuity is key, and they're going to have almost an entirely new offensive line. So that I think is reason for concern. Obviously, they still have plenty of time to address it, but so far, it head scratcher for sure.
So, Sean, does that mess up your CJ Stroud quarterback over number one overall pick or
It
take?
does. It does big time. He's still my QB1 though. And I just gotta hope that it's a good draft to go out and get offensive linemen, right?
Oh
So
yeah, that's pretty
if their
deep.
plan is to like get a couple guys in the first, like trade next year's first for a back end first guy, get there's two guys in the first, try to do the same thing the second. So now you got four rookies. That might be hard for them to get the job, but who knows? Then it's going to come down to coaching because you got to get the right guys, and it's going to take a while. The last team to dismantle their line and go all new was Kansas City. That after the Tampa Bay Super Bowl there, where Mahomes was getting all run over, and it took them
Oh
what
yeah.
6-7 games to gel before they started looking good.
Yep.
So I was curious, how was you guys redraft season last year? Do y'all play in
It
redraft leagues?
Yeah, I have at least one that I play in every year. So usually it ends up 1 to 4 per year. And last year was one of those years that I built this awesome team and I get into the playoffs and the first round you just have bad luck. So it did not work this year. I think Puka Nakua was one of the guys that let me down that helped get me there, and then that first week of playoffs just didn't do enough. And I mean that's one of the things Sean and I talk about every year is getting to the playoffs is the part that requires skill, and then once you get into the playoffs, it can be a whole lot of luck to lead to a title. So I ended up with, let's see, the 3 leagues I had a first round exit, and then I had two that I made the title that I got beaten both of them. So not the greatest of seasons overall, but success in that most of my teams made the playoffs.
What about you, Sean?
Well, I only do one, and right there is my championship belt. So I
You only
won
played the
and
one?
I only play the one seasonal. The rest is all dynasty that I do. I'm more of a dynasty guy. So, but basically just the one seasonal, and I took it all, and no help to my first four friggin' picks that I took. Had the first overall pick, took Christian fucking McCaffrey. Sat there my whole fucking time on the clock going,
Yep.
don't take him. He's gonna get injured, and out loud so everybody could fucking hear me too, because we do it all live at a buddy's restaurant, and we all drink and
Yeah,
eat for free. Like it's a typical home league, right?
it
Like good
sounds like a
times.
great time.
And the whole time I'm like, what they're like, you're a fucking Niners fan, you're taking them. I'm like, I know because I own them nowhere, so I fucking kind of gotta fuck it. And I was gonna take C.J. Stroud there though, on a one
Yeah.
QB, and I took Christian McCaffrey, so I took Stroud with the second overall, my second round pick on the backswing, and then came back with Diggs who got hurt and was not doing much, and like my first 4 picks were crap, so I had to hit the waiver wire hard. And luckily, I drafted Joe Burrow in the 6th. Like by the end of the 6th round, I had 2 quarterbacks in a 1 QB league, and I had Burrows and Higgins. So when Higgins had that 4 touchdown game, woo, yeah, baby, grab me my belt.
Do y'all draft
yeah.
offline?
No, we draft online, and it's a 2-minute timer, but we're all in the same room together.
Okay. I would love to get a league together where you're not allowed to have any electronics. Like you could just bring your notes. That's about it. Like
I'm in a league
draft.
like
Oh,
that
yeah.
too, but it's a dynasty one. It's hardcore. and our draft starts the same time the NFL draft starts. There's no timer.
Yeah, I think that's crazy interesting.
But once the NFL draft is finished, so is our draft. So you got it starts out slow, but when you get into that day 3 and 4, it's like boom, 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 boom. The picks start flying because you want to get your picks in
Yeah,
before
you
the
have
NFL
to.
draft's done.
Now,
So
what's
that contingent if you run out? Like, so let's
That draft
say.
picks are just garbage.
So then
there
it's just
has
a
been
free
some
for all on
games
the waiver
played and
wire.
some fist fights because one guy didn't care, and it was like
Yeah.
5 picks left. He's like, I just don't care. I'm gonna fuck you guys, so people can pick them up on the waiver wire.
Oh man, that's nuts.
Yeah, and you're in some leagues with them, Alex.
Oh, yeah.
We've had him on the podcast lots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm in some wild leagues, man. Sometimes, especially my dynasty ones. Like, I'm in one where you have to draft offensive linemen on that all22.com. That one's pretty hard. 32 contract leagues.
Yeah.
Better dynasty. Crazy leagues.
So how do you get points
For the offensive linemen, you lose points if they allow a sack, and you get points if they get a pancake. But for the most part, it's pretty low keel unless you got a guy like Taylor Lewan or whatever. Not Taylor Lewan. That Taylor for who?
Taylor Lewan?
No, the guy for Kansas City that just got traded. The Bears.
Oh, shoot, we just talked about him too. Joe Tooney?
Yeah, him. He gets a lot of penalties, right? So you'd be losing a lot of points. He gets a lot of false starts, and so you'd lose a lot of points with a guy like Joe Tooney. So you don't want a guy like him. You want somebody just solid that you're not really going to hear from.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, I did remember in my redraft league that man, I did make a lot of playoffs, and I'm trying to think. It was that week 1. Can't remember if that was on week 1 of the playoffs or week 2 when Jonathan Taylor decided to wake up. And he put me out of a lot of playoffs because I own no Jonathan Taylor. So I watched him do nothing the whole season and woke up and just went crazy in the playoffs. It was a disappointing time.
That's how it goes sometimes, right?
He's one of the reasons I won a championship in Goodies League. Him and Bryce Young, of all people.
Yeah, right. Bryce Young went crazy to end the season too.
Yeah, perfect timing. Right after I traded for him from Alex.
That's true. Yep.
So it sounds like so Sean probably didn't have a problem, but for you, Alex, I would ask you, what player screwed you over in fantasy last year?
Well, so I mentioned Puka Nacua. He was one of them, but he was one that I traded for later. And then let me try to think. So, Sean, I'm trying to think of Hall of Fame league and the way that league got derailed so quickly. The Tua injury was one because I ended up pretty heavy on Jalen Waddle. So it wasn't Tua himself that was hurting me. It was all of my Jalen Waddle and that just Dolphins offense just falling off a cliff. So
I can't remember who you had. I know you were competing for a playoff spot, and then
and then there was McCaffrey.
Bottom of the barrel.
right, exactly. McCaffrey was one of them, but that was one where early on it was like, oh, it's only going to be a week or two, and then we didn't see him till what was it, like week 8? It was right before the trade deadline, and at that point I was like, okay, well my season, because of all these other injuries that were going on, just made it that much worse. So there's not so much one, it was just a compiling of, I happen to have all those guys that ended up getting hurt and not missing whole seasons, but enough time that it overlapped. And it just, that team in particular, I won the title 2 years ago. And last year it just totally collapsed. By the end of the season, I had racked up a couple wins early, but I think I finished like 6-10 or something. Not good.
So this brings forth a question I didn't have on the show sheet. That since McCaffrey have messed over all three of us,
Oh yeah.
in redraft, when are you willing to pull the trigger on McCaffrey this season?
I will not. I will pass like
So
I have every other year.
you get the 105 pick in the third round, 5th pick. McCaffrey's still there. You still won't pull the trigger?
Nope. I think he's done. I personally think he's done.
Whew.
He had to fly to 3 different countries to get the okay to come play football, and he lasted a game and a half.
Kobe did all that, and he was able to finish his career off.
That's true.
Basketball is a lot simpler to play, like physically wise, than in football when you're taking a punishment, especially at the running back
Also
position.
true. Also true. And he's had so much abuse on that body with how many carries and touches he's had.
If he switches to wide receiver, because he can do that, he's good enough route runner that he could and do the slot, then I would draft him in the 3rd. Because then I would trust it a little more. He wouldn't be taking that beating that a running back takes.
Yeah, not the same beating, that's for sure.
Well, go ahead, Alex.
I think I would start to think about it at 12, knowing that you have that next pick right there immediately. You can kind of cover yourself a little because you got those back-to-back picks, right? So you take him at 12, and then whoever else you wanted that slipped for your first pick of the 2nd round. I think I could see that working, but I'm not going to tell you you're wrong if you want to take him completely off your board, because I went through that experience last year and I was lucky enough to trade him, and then they got one good week out of him and then he got hurt. So it's tough to come back. Obviously, Sean just talked about how last year he came back and won, losing his 1st round pick, but that's just depends on what kind of game you want to play, right? Like, I would rather take the swing on upside for most cases, but McCaffrey's just one that, especially at his age, I don't know if I'm willing to jump in, especially at the 101, but even with my 1st round pick, that's where it gets dicey. I don't know if I'm willing.
How long have you been watching football, Terrence?
With a better eye, it haven't been that long. Like, I've been watching it for a kid, but as far as with an eye to be able to understand the game along, it haven't been that long.
Man.
Well, I remember Ed McCaffrey. Ed McCaffrey was great. But when Ed McCaffrey hit that age index for wide receivers, he started being on the injury report quite often. So I'm expecting McCaffrey to be on the injury report quite often at 29 as a running back.
Well, one thing I do believe that you gotta pick a side. Well, I believe in making decisions. I don't believe in what you call it, teetering over the fence.
Yeah, or waffling.
Hey, pick a side. So if you believe McCaffrey is done, you better be investing everywhere on the backup. What's his name?
Guerendo. I have a lot of Isaac Guerendo.
Yeah,
Isaac Guerendo.
Yeah, you should have Guerendo in every league.
If they come out and draft one of these guys in the 2nd or 3rd round, though, I'm not even too sure Isaac Guerendo's the guy.
No, because they usually don't jump the rookie. They draft over the person that's already there. Because I thought Guerendo was better than Mason. I was surprised Mason, got the majority of the carries. I thought Guerendo was more talented.
But,
but it's a hard offense to learn. So Guerendo,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So if some rookie come over, I don't think they'll jump the rookie, over that, Guerendo, who already in the system, been learning the system.
Yep. I agree.
I just think the backs are just so talented that they could freaking do it in this class. Like, there's 8 guys that you can be like their future RB1s, 3 down backs.
But let's be honest, though. San Fran have a type.
Yeah, and it's Shanahan.
And half the time he don't pick the right. They don't.
Well, let's say
you know more about San Fran, so I got a question to ask you. Because I've been having a theory in my head. watching them pick backs over the year. Is the GM and the coach on the same page? Because it'd be the weirdest. Sometimes it'd be the weirdest backs that don't seem to match up, and then I'd be like, "Oh, that's a Shanahan back." But when you pick Trey Sermon or the Price, that guy Price, that didn't seem like the Shanahan running back. So are they on the same page?
Oh, fuck, man. I bitch about all the time how they draft. What you got to realize is they outsmart themselves in those first 3 rounds. So don't trust anybody that they take from round 1 to round 3. They got the guys that they've hit on, they've been fucking lucky with, like Nick Bosa. The rest have all just been shit. Ricky Pearsall looks like he might be okay. Still too early to tell, but for the most part, man, they do not hit in those fucking picks. They are fucking genius. Round 4 and beyond, they hit all the fucking picks from those ones. So if they're drafting those guys, those I think are all Kyle's guys, where the ones before, I think it's all the team and the facility and all the scouts. This is the best players. This is the most talented. And they just go off that big board. But once that big board's cleared and they just start going for guys they like, that's when they're hitting. That's when they're getting George Kittle, Hafunga, and like Jordan Mason off the undrafted free agents and stuff like that. Like Purdy, the last pick of the draft, that was actually Brian Greasy, the quarterback coach, made that pick.
Is Mac Jones more talented than Purdy?
I think they're the same guy. I don't see any difference between them, really. Just Mac Jones hasn't really had a good system to be around him. He's been go to New England after Brady and had to suck up all those type of big contracts and just, what they've done over the years and reset. Didn't work out. Then he went to Jacksonville. When he played Jacksonville, he was playing better than Trevor Lawrence was.
Did they pay Purdy yet?
Not yet. Not yet. They won't. They won't pay him until he demands it to be traded. That's how John Lynch works.
I was gonna say that is the San Francisco way over there, is piss them off enough that they request a trade and go, okay, well, here's your money then.
Yeah. Oh fuck, they're being serious. We better pay them now. They did it to Debo, they did it to Kittle, they did it to Bosa, they did it to Warner. They're gonna do it to Purdy.
I like Mac Jones as the prospect. Forly better than superior than Purdy.
Here's what's interesting though about that pick. Mac Jones was who Kyle Shanahan wanted. This has all come out since, right?
Yeah.
And then for some
reason,
we
were big on Trey Lance, and he disappointed him.
He fell in love with them the day before the draft. He had dinner with. He was the last guy he had dinner with, so he went to bed dreaming about Trey Lance and what he could do with him. But Trey Lance was a 1-year starter. He was never gonna fucking work out.
Yeah. But he gave up on him so quickly. I mean, he ain't trying to develop overnight.
Well, you say that, and I could say that too because of how many games he played. But that first practice when Jimmy Garoppolo was still QB2, Kyle went up to friggin' Jed York and said, hey, we got a problem here. I just want you to be aware with. I'm not going to do anything right now, but our best quarterback is our QB3. So all that shit in practice that he did, all that fucking rookie year to do Lance after he got hurt, like he had already performed in practice and Kyle had seen him. Like we're judging it off of one game with the Bears and the rainstorm, and then he got hurt the next game. Right. A stupid run play. But Kyle's seen how many fucking hours of these guys competing against each other? 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like that's 50 hours for at least 4 months. That's 200 hours. That's enough to say who's better or not.
That's something I think as fantasy analysts that we often don't give enough credit to. And that's the fact that these coaches are seeing these guys in practice every single day. So oftentimes it's not just we think that the better player is not playing. It's that we think that player is better than they actually are, and these coaches are seeing it every single day. Like Trey Lance is a perfect example of that. Like,
and who was the other guy? Rodriguez for the Lions there, the linebacker, and the coach when they're on Hard Knocks, he's like, "What do you guys want me to do? I want to play the veterans." Yeah. But he's fucking outperforming you. I'm doing everything I can to not make him a starter. You guys aren't helping the situation here. Yep. So it's just what they see on the film at the practice. Like he was doing shit that Lance couldn't do. He comprehended the system better than Lance couldn't do. And that's why they traded Jimmy so that they could move Brock up so that they can get him in the lineup faster.
Right.
So for next year, it's presuming that Jamar Chase is y'all 101. But he might not even be you guys 101. But who is your 102 pick for next year in redraft?
Well, my 101 is Chase, and it's been Chase for quite a while. If he's not there, I don't even know if Jefferson would be it because he's going to have those quarterback problems, especially for a seasonal. I'm probably, if I had the 102, knowing that what the wide receiver position looks like, I might, if I don't go Lamb, then I'd probably go Barkley.
Yeah, I would
Get the
consider
top back.
Barkley at that spot too. Or for me, I'm not crossing Jefferson off my board, so he's also in play for me at the 102. I know that there's concerns about the quarterback position, but Sam Darnold also made him just fine. And to me, Jefferson has proved that he's quarterback proof at this point because we've seen him do it with such trash at so many different times. I mean, we saw Josh Dobbs for a couple games, right? And then
Yeah.
who was the other backup that Minnesota threw in there at one point?
Nick
Before
Mullins.
He couldn't do it with
Yep.
him. He
Yeah,
that one
exactly.
guy disappointed us. I forgot it was a black quarterback, Hall, maybe.
Oh yeah, Jaron Hall.
Oh yeah, he disappointed us. He
Oh, he
disappointed me.
was.
Championship game, they decided to put him as a quarterback, and I lost. And I thought about benching Jefferson because I know how bad this quarterback was, and I couldn't have the balls to bench Justin Jefferson, and I would have won the championship if I would have benched Justin Jefferson. It's just
Yep, that's one of the things that I run into all the time is sometimes when you're in those tough spots like those, especially those playoff matchups, the question that I ask myself is, if I lose this game with this player on my bench, can I live with that?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I knew
So,
I couldn't live with it because if
exactly.
I would have felt like a dumbass if
Yep.
Justin Jefferson would have went off on my bench.
Exactly. Because it could just be one play, right? That 90-yard touchdown that he had in that playoff game. Like if he gives you that, and that's the only thing he gives you, that still might be enough that you win. But
Hey.
if he's on your bench, oh
Well,
man.
ask Chris. Ask Chris next time you talk to him, Alex, about Adrian Peterson. He benched Adrian Peterson for
man.
no Sean Marino in a championship
Yeah.
back in 2009, and I still hear about that on a weekly basis.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, for me, I think it just depends on the league. I think in a league where I'm starting three wide receivers, I think I would go Jefferson. But in the start two wide receivers, I would go running back. So I'll probably go Bijan. I think I will go Bijan. I don't know why I don't ever trust Barkley. I just feel like
That's fair.
Barkley is the type that maybe get to the end of the season, be like, we got this record wrapped up. I'm only gonna play, this quarter and let the young guys eat. Let the young
Um,
guys eat.
I
You
mean, we
know,
just saw that.
That was before Barkley had a Super Bowl ring, though. I think it's going to be different this year.
I
Now
think it's gonna be
I got my
worse.
ring. Now I want the championship. I want in the record books for yards. You watch.
Yeah, we'll
Well, he
see.
had the chance to get the record, but it was right in step.
But the ring was more important because he didn't have a Super Bowl yet.
Well, we gonna see. I don't
Super
know.
Bowls change
Yes, we
people,
are.
man. Super Bowls change people.
We will
So,
see. Maybe he just wants another one now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they got a chance to repeat.
Yeah, they sure do.
But I think now he's going to want another one with the record. Going to get greedy.
That's
Well,
all right.
we'll see if his body can hold up. I mean,
Yep.
I keep saying that it's not like before this Barkley. We seen the talent, but it's not like he was, killing it beforehand. And he always been dealing with injury problems. So if he pushed his body like that, I mean, I would just think he should know his body by now. He push his body, he might break down. I'm invested in all the Will Shipley. Tell you that.
Yeah, he's a player I think that we could see more of. If nothing else, just try to keep Barkley healthier, right? Because Gainwell's
Well, they
also
also
out the door.
They let Gainwell go and the other running back too that they had. So I think Shipley's RB2 there now.
Yeah, seems that way. They could always draft somebody too.
They will. I just don't think they go have the draft capital, but they will draft someone.
Yeah.
We talked about redraft. So how many dynasty leagues are you guys in?
I'm in 12.
I think that's exactly where I'm at. Now that I think about it.
Are y'all all in the same league, exact league?
No, we have a lot of overlap.
Together.
Yeah.
4 or 5, I think, together.
Yep.
And that's only been recently, but so we're the one with Goody, and then we got 04. So we're in 5 together.
Do y'all co-own any teams?
Hell
Ooh.
no, man. I got to make all those decisions myself.
Yep.
I couldn't be a co-owner.
Yeah,
I
I
just,
don't think I could do that either.
I don't have that personality. I'd go insane. Because someone go in there and change something after I did. What the fuck you doing? Especially if I was
Yeah.
right and they were wrong, they'd never hear the end of it.
I think it'd be fun to try, but I don't think that it would go. Like, I don't think the result of the team would be good. I think it would end up in a lot of just football talk, which is fun. I enjoy that. But like, especially Sean and I, like we could have a team together because there's a lot of times we are in line a lot. I mean, we talk a lot of football together, right? It's
You know what
basically
I want
3
to
hours a
do?
week.
I want to make up the league, and I've thought about this.
Mhm.
I think I talked about it in the clubhouse days, where it's 3 people that co-own. Okay, you have a
Mhm.
head coach. The head coach does all the waiver wire moves, all the draft moves, all those types of moves, right? IR
Mhm.
moves, all that type
Yeah.
of stuff. And then you have an offensive coordinator who sets your offense, picks the starters, and your defensive
Yeah.
coordinator that picks your IDP starters. And you got to win as a team.
Oh man.
So who
So you get
drafting? Who drafting?
The head coach does the drafting, the waiver wire, the
yeah.
trades, all that sort of stuff. The GM head coach type of role,
Oh,
and
Yeah.
then the offensive coordinator's got to work with the offensive players that he has on the team to set a certain lineup, and the defensive
Yeah.
coordinator has to work with the defensive players that he has on the team to set a defensive lineup. I think that would be a fantastic league.
Oh, it'd be a lot of fun because it would be you would have to decide who is playing what role. So like, Sean, what is your best part? Okay, well, you're good at digging into these rookies and stuff like that. So we'll have you build the roster, and then I'll go set the offense, and then Terrence, you go set the defense. Like that, it'd be fun just trying to work with what you got because you also got to play as a team, right? Like, okay,
Yep.
well, Sean, I can't win with this offense. I need a new player. This is what I want.
This
Go
quarterback
get it.
isn't working for me. You got to get me something better.
Exactly. Yep.
hold the hell
That'd
up!
be
You
fun.
just said you can't even co-own with one person. Now you talking about 2 other people joining the mix.
But that's a
Yep.
totally different challenge. That's not
Yeah.
doing an exact fantasy, right? Everybody has their role.
Yeah.
So if you have a role, I could do that. That's the only
Well,
way I
you
could
can
do it.
agree. You can agree with your one person what
I
the
wouldn't.
role
Well,
is.
I just have to suck it up because it's not my role, right? I could go to Alex. Why the fuck did you start him over Ray Lewis, you dumbass? Next game, you better fucking have Ray Lewis in there. Or I'll fire you.
Yeah, right. So
But
that's what it is. Sean needs the power to be able to control the
Yeah.
decisions when they go wrong.
I'd probably have to be the head coach GM, and that's just let other people set the lineup with the teams that I make.
But yeah, I'm God knows how many dynasty leagues I'm in. I just be saying 20. I really don't know. It's probably 20 something. Probably 25. Or who knows? Like I don't really be counting anymore. I do, even though I don't consider myself the greatest dynasty players because I don't really like to trade. Once I get my guys, I'm I'm pretty
Yeah.
much see it out. Look, I'll see it out and I'll draft my incoming rookies when they come. Like I don't make a lot of moves, so that's why I can't consider myself the best dynasty player. And
No.
I kind of fall more in love with redraft. I'm getting in more redraft leagues because I'm able to switch it out each year, use more theories. But in dynasty, I'd be like, these my guys. We rolling with this. I believe in this talent. If I'm able to trade for another one of my guys, I'll do that. But otherwise, I just roll with my guys. So
I get it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. Like for me, I love trading, and that's one of the ways that I really like building my team through trades and the draft. And so for me, that's one of the things that I also struggle with though is like when I finally land that guy that I've been trying to get, like, no, you're gonna have to pry him from my cold dead fingers. Sorry, guys.
Well, that's what I get on content creators about when they so casually say our boy good for this too. It's like go get this guy for a third. Sir, do you know they own that team for a reason? They own that person's
Yep.
team for a reason. They like them. They're not going to give
Yep.
them up for market value. You think it's as easy for me to go get them for a third? I wish.
Yep.
Believe me, I try every day sending out trades and get shot down. And
Oh,
I
Sean.
get trash trades every day myself.
Yep. Sean could tell you too. One of my pet peeves is players that use trade calculators to negotiate trades. Like, okay, that's fair in a vacuum, but I have the guy, and I'm telling you that's not enough. So try again.
Yeah, and
It's just
I value the people that use the trade calculator because guess what? That's a baseline at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Use that as a baseline. I had
Right.
one guy just send me the 302 for Kyle Pitts in a 2-point PPR league. I said, are you slow or you just don't have a sense of player value?
Probably both.
Hey, I've seen Pitts go for worse than that.
What? Oh, speaking of that, I don't think I forget how high you was on Pitts.
I
Oh,
still
he's
am.
my dynasty one-on-one, even in a super flex. I remember that on Clubhouse.
And I remember what I said then. Remember what I said? It would take.
It's gonna take 5
fucking
years.
This is the year. I said it would take 5 years. He had to learn his blocking. He started really blocking well last year, I noticed. So he's going to get a lot more play time now. And he's actually got a quarterback in Penix that can throw him the fucking ball in a good spot now.
I am on Pitts this year while a lot of people are off. So this is the perfect year to be in on Pitts if because everybody's off him. Everybody leaving him for dead.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Yep.
so this is the year. Matter of fact,
I've
I
got him
need
in
to
a lot of
see.
leagues, man. I'm still holding. Don't you worry. I still got him.
But I was trying to tell people, like, people just thought, he just was gonna kill it, and because I mean, it was more so of athleticism. Because when I saw the tape, I didn't fall in love with him when I saw the tape. To be honest with you, I do the predictive badges. He earned a plethora of predictive badges because of his production and his athleticism. But I just knew this wasn't a guy that I knew was coming later on down the pipe. When the guy came that everybody should have had eyes for, like they had Pitts, they wasn't drafting him like they should have. Brock Bowers was the truth.
Yep.
He was the truth coming that people should have treated him like Pitts, and they was just letting him fall to 108 sometimes. It was
I got him
So,
at 2.02.
yeah, I was gonna say Sean got him as a total steal, second pick of the second round, and he kept falling. I was trying to trade in for like 4 or 5 straight picks there. He just kept falling. Like, geez.
And it's the one guy I didn't want.
Yeah.
I'm like, I traded Devontae Smith for Jalen Reed in the 2.02. And I'm like, the only guy I don't want to fall there that's all predicted to go there in all the rankings is Brock Bowers. And who fucking falls to me? Brock Bowers. I had George Kittle. I had I have crazy tight ends. Juno Smith. What the fuck I need Brock Bowers? Fine, I'll fucking take him because it's a cliff dive after him. And I still lost the championship.
It happens.
Brock Bowers. I was when I did my rookie profile video, and this was before, I think this might have been before the draft, before I knew where he was going. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember because that's what made me not draft him in redraft. When he got drafted by the Raiders, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna look because Mayers was already there. So I I don't know how this is gonna look, and I did not draft him in redraft, and that was my mistake. But I was on him in Dynasty. I was telling everyone, look, this is your chance. This is what you've been waiting for. This is who you thought Pitts was gonna be. Draft him.
Yep. And that's actually one of the spots where if Sean and I can highlight a mistake that we made, that we both thought that Michael Mayer, is that how you say that? Mayer. Yeah, we thought that he might be on the field more than Bowers because Bowers wasn't the greatest blocker coming out.
Well, I think it might have been different too had Devontae Adams not gone to the Jets.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just going to say.
Some targets. So, and if Brock Bowers lined up 86% of the time last year out of the slot.
Right. So
0% times on the line as a tight end, and 14% on the outside. So he's basically used as a wide receiver last year.
Yeah, and I think we may end up seeing a lot of that again this year because they still need receivers there in Vegas.
Yeah, with Shedeur Sanders throwing the ball.
He's sticking by it.
I don't own any don't co-own any teams, but I recently, was having some rookie talk with a guy come on and who co-hosts with me, and I was like, we was so pretty much on step with our rookies this season. I was like, bro, we need to co-manage a dynasty scene, try it out. I don't understand how it works. but I wanted to just try it out because I know, I usually, go with my thoughts, but at the same time, maybe this person, maybe having another person might
bounce
go
it
out
off.
there and trade more. Now, I just need you to run the trades by me first because I can't let you get rid of my guys.
Right. Exactly.
I got certain guys that I'm sorry. Once they get on my team, you gonna have to pay a lot to get them off.
Exactly.
It is what it is.
I hate the guy that comes to you too. Well, that's a fair value. I don't give a shit. Doesn't mean I want to trade him.
yeah. What does that mean when you? I always tell people, and I'll just be like, if someone, if you brought a house and you've been living in your house, someone knock on your door like, I want to buy this house. This is the market value, so give me the house. What the fuck are we talking about? Like,
exactly.
like you will have to pay a premium to convince me to move. Just like you have to pay a premium to convince me to move off of this player. Because obviously you don't want my team for a reason. I like them.
Funny story. I actually had somebody knock on my door once because they wanted to buy my house. So they sent the realtor to knock on my door. They're like, yeah, they're willing to offer this. I'm like, that's fair market value. And they're like, yeah, so we're going to give you a fair market value. I go, you're knocking on my door wanting to buy my house. So unless you're willing to add another $150,000 on top of this number, we're not talking anything there. Because you're coming to me asking me to move. I'm not looking to move. I don't want to move. You want me to move? It's going to cost an extra $150,000. They didn't buy my house.
Yep. I mean, that's the way it works, right? Like, I have this thing. I determine what that value is. Sure, I could be way off on my value. I could say it's worth $1 million and nobody's going to pay that, but it's mine. I'm setting the value.
And I am riding that Anthony Richardson train right to the goddamn ground. I don't give a shit. And I knew it was going to the ground. I don't know why I picked them still this day. Stupid Gator fan I am.
Because we're all fans. That's what it comes down to, man. We want to. It's like what Terrence is talking about. We want our guys.
I didn't even want them.
Apparently you did
because there was 6 Colts fans in the league, and I thought I could trade them for a lot.
Nope. Nope. They gotcha.
Yeah, man. Trading is tricky. I don't know. Like, that's my only thing. Like, I don't get excited when I see trades. I mean, I guess it's inside. It's kind of, it's some excitement, but I know I try to temper my expectation because whenever I go check that email, when I see offer, like, here we go. Let's see what it say. And like, oh, another trash trade. Another trash.
So,
and they got some people that under the beliefs that like, you got to start low. No, like, you disrespect. Like, if you send me like 3 bad trades in a row, I'm gonna send you a message saying our values of players are too far apart, and please don't send me any more trades. I'm getting better. I'm trying to be more open, and I'll just communicate. Like, I think our values off. I don't think we won't come to a conclusion because our values is too far apart. I know because people will come to your team and be like, I want this player, and like, okay, this is a start 2 quarterback league, not Superflex. This is a start 2 quarterback league. So you're gonna have to pay a premium. You coming one Bro Nix. I got a couple quarterbacks that I'm definitely willing to move for a lower price. I think I got Anthony Richardson. I forgot the other one. Another guy that's value going down. Oh, Fields. I got Fields that I love me some Fields. I'm willing to move. But you asking for people with ascending value, and you try to give me market value price. Not gonna happen. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt you just like it's gonna hurt me.
Exactly.
Well, it's gonna hurt you worse than it's gonna hurt me.
And that's the thing. Like, the best trades are a little uncomfortable for both sides, and that's how you know it's fair value. Because I shouldn't really be itching to get rid of those guys, and you shouldn't be itching to get rid of the guys that you're trying to give me. So to me, those are always the best trades.
Now, I just tried to trade Cooper Kupp in the league because I just took over an orphan. I asked for the guy to give me the 211 and 302, and I didn't think it was bad. He said I can't even get rid of Cup in my other leagues for the 211. I said, well, damn. I mean,
Jeez.
either he cooked or people. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on because I didn't think that was a bad. I didn't think I offered
No,
low. I thought it
yeah,
was a fair offer.
yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I have Cooper Cup on one of my teams, and if I was offered that, I'd probably take it. Turn it over at this point.
Jeez, I don't think I would.
No,
I'm
you
saying
like Cup enough?
most people who have Cup would not take that offer because that's basically 2/3.
Yeah, I think I would.
But he said he was like, I can't even get rid of Cup for the 211. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I guess I gotta wait to end season. I said I just keep him on my team, wait till he's scoring some fantasy points. Be like, I know you want him now. Come on, need that
Then you trade
second.
him for a second.
I'm gonna need that second now.
Yep.
If he was 2/3 before. I'm just need that second now.
See, that is actually one of my weaknesses, I think, in my fantasy gaming, is that I am not great at timing when it comes to trades sometimes. Like every once in a while, I'll have great timing. Like I said with the McCaffrey deal, I got out of him. They got one good game and then he got hurt. So you could look at it as good timing in that one. But there's other ones like the Bryce Young, right? I sent you Bryce Young, Sean, and he took off as soon as I traded him. So like for me, that's one, like we're talking about getting rid of Cooper Cup. If somebody came to me with a 2 and a 3, I'd probably take that deal for Cup. But
Okay.
if you wait in season and you got that team that is like, oh crap, I just lost my top receiver. Cup is on a roll for the last 3 weeks. You might be able to squeeze a late first out of somebody. And I'm going to miss out on that, but I'm more in the give me the value now, even if the timing isn't perfect. So that's
I
something
have
I know
better
I need to work
timing.
on.
I have better timing in redraft than in Dynasty because in
Yeah.
Dynasty is like you like, okay, this person giving me points. I'm trying to compete. It's hard for me to just get rid
Exactly.
of them in the midst of giving me points.
Exactly. Yep, I
So
agree. And I think it's a little easier to figure out timing in redraft because you're working with such a small window. Like this is your only season. Where in Dynasty, look at one example, Juju Smith-Schuster. His second year in the league, he was wide receiver 1 in Dynasty, and then he never did anything again like that to that level. I mean, and he just fell off a cliff. And there were so many reasons, and we didn't really see those coming. So that's the one thing with Dynasty that makes timing that much harder. You never
what
know
was the
what's going to
reason? Let
happen.
me know because that was baffling to me.
The
Well,
TikTok
it was
dances.
yeah. I think there was some concentration issues. I think the locker room changed, and so that was a part of it. And then I think if I had to guess, I would say that he got too comfortable with Antonio Brown on the other side to where he didn't have to work as hard to get open. And then when he was the focus, he didn't have those moves and those tools to be able to dominate as the alpha again. Because he had the size, he had the ability. It was just putting it all together, and he never really seemed to do it after